Instead of the DHS, they kept referring me to agencies that I was trying to turn in. I'm going to the DHS to turn these agencies in, and the DHS is telling me these are the agencies I got to go to. That was Hood River. Here, I had somebody go in with me. I was here less than 10 minutes and got what couldn't be accomplished in 6 fucking months in Hood River. I was able to get done here in less than 10 minutes. What's the difference? What's the difference between the DHS in Hood River and the DHS here? Somebody finally went in with me. Somebody who at least to some degree knows what the hell is going on, at least with the system. There's a lot of bodies in this, and I never ever get to the point where, well, of course, when you're disabled and you're supposed to have assistance, by law, they're supposed to give you that assistance. And when they want to argue with you, the lady here said the same thing. It's untrue, but she said it anyway. They don't provide those kind of services. No, they have to. I cannot provide them for myself. I am an at-risk adult. And nobody is going to look at any of this shit. That's the thing. All these places say, we can't do anything about the bullshit. Bullshit, you can't do nothing about the past. You can't change the past. But here's the thing. Let's say your daughter was raped yesterday and went into the DHS office today because the people at the hospital wouldn't listen and the fucking cops wouldn't listen. And she comes into the DHS and says, hey, I was raped yesterday. Oh, we can't do anything about the past. How about do something about the fucking crimes committed against at-risk adults? However, I did get the paperwork I needed, at least to get started on food stamps, and I did fill that piece of paperwork out, and I did get it turned in. And instead of getting the fucking bullshit runaround for 30 goddamn minutes and getting threatened, harassed, and intimidated, it went fucking smooth. Yeah. Let's take a look at it. This is the Office for the Aging and Disabled. Yes, when you are abused, this is the office that is supposed to help you with that as an at-risk adult. Now, she wanted to ask me a bunch of stuff about Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security disability. And, you know, when I first come in this morning, I explained to the lady, hey, I don't have any of that. It was all taken away because I did not have any assistance. I did not have any help and could not do those things myself. For these people to ignore the crimes committed by law enforcement as well as the general public is wrong. These are mandated reporters. Telling me that I have to go to somebody else. Now they want me to go to Tillamook Family Counseling, and maybe they have an advocate or some sort of advocacy. They won't. Not unless somebody fights. And who's going to fight for my rights? Now, a lady went in with me today, and I am thankful for that. She actually kept her word. Now, we were supposed to meet up at 9 o'clock this morning. I was there at 9:01 this morning. I was actually there a little bit earlier, but they had some stuff going on, and of course I had to wait. That's not a problem. Waiting for an hour and a half is not a major issue, especially when there's errands that got to be run around and life happens. It's when people literally for years and years and years, just ignore the situation. They tell you they'll help, but then they ignore you. They don't care what's going on. They don't care what kind of abuse you're going through. And that's why it's great to run into somebody who understands disabilities, especially my disabilities. There's a lot of people that know all about how difficult it is to get up and down the stairs when you're in a wheelchair. There are people who will look at someone in a wheelchair and it'll make them stop and think, I wonder how that person gets up the stairs. But that's a disability that you can see. And no, you can't necessarily see the disability itself. You see the wheelchair, which is a representation of that disability. Either quadriplegic or paraplegic. Might be somebody who's just an amputee. You know, being an amputee, I'm sure, between being an amputee and being a quadriplegic, I'd rather have something chopped off and still have the use of my limbs. Now, what's the difference? That's the key thing right there. What is the difference? And we know the difference. The difference is somebody went in with me this time. Instead of bullshitting me and leading me on for years at a time and saying, oh, it's your fault I didn't keep my word. No, it's your fault. You are the one who didn't keep your word. Now, for me, I do my best. There are people that once they get the interpersonal dynamics going, it's time for me to dip out. With Stephanie Mejia and Ventus, they were both going to help me. When it turned out that they were just too busy boffing each other to bother with actually helping, that overwhelmed me. And I should have just left then, but I didn't have anywhere to go, didn't have any way to transport any of my evidence. And of course, Megan Missigated, she went out of her way not to do her job. That's the thing about mandated reporters. I need to be able to turn this shit in without being fucking victimized, without being retaliated against. And that's the problem. Anybody can victimize me at any point in time and get away with it. And if I speak up, they're allowed to retaliate because nobody gives a shit to stop them. So are you and I friends? No, we're not. If this shit happened to you, it wouldn't take me 7 goddamn years to speak up. If you needed somebody to go in with you so you could do this safely, it wouldn't take me years. The problem was that I had to do all of this alone. There's people who wanted to throw it in my face that they wrote me a letter. Well, thanks for the letter. Why didn't you make the calls with me? Because when I made the calls by myself, I got told, oh, well, how do we know you didn't write that? Well, that means that you guys need to fucking step up to the goddamn plate. But you didn't care. You don't care how much I am harmed. I don't have the right genitalia to be a victim. A lot of people have misunderstandings about autism. There's a reason that they separate it into low-functioning autism and high-functioning autism. But the disabilities are there just the same. Make sure we turn on the lights before we start driving. Vehicle next to me parked a little bit strange, so in order for me to back out without hitting him, I had to make myself crooked. Hall. All right. Anyway, there's some folks here who are allowing me to use their address. I don't know their address. She wrote it down for me, which is fine by me. That way I can not have to do the general mail thing, because they tend to take forever to send anything to a general mail delivery. And then they tend to send it back before I get it. There's more than once where I've had to go run errands. This is something that is very frequent. People tell me they're going to help me, and I hurry up and wait and hurry up and wait and hurry up and wait. But if I'm gone for 5 goddamn minutes, as long as I don't tell them about it, they won't know. But if I say, yeah, I was fucking gone in the bathroom for 5 minutes, like, yeah, man, I showed up, you weren't there, I fucking waited for an hour, you fucking piece of shit. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Saw something in the road that looked like a nail, so I went into the wrong lane a little bit. Well, it looked like a chunk of rusty metal, but it's also raining out, so it's difficult to tell. I also got some information on Robert Farnsworth. You know, apparently he used to be a lot more together before his brother died. It happens. These folks have known him since they were in school together. He's been around the area for a long time. And they were saying that Robbie sat with him for dinner the other night. And that they said he's gone. He's not there mentally. He's not who he used to be. I'm not who I used to be either. I lost my entire family. No, they're not dead. They're drug dealers and child molesters and drug addicts. Every opportunity where my mother could have done the right thing, she chose drugs instead. And that's when it comes to all 4 of her kids. And my little brother Michael, shit, he can do no wrong. When he stole an M&M CD, it was Drake Chambers' fault. When he got cigarettes from Jeff Luckdahoos, it was my fault. When my little brother molests his stepdaughter, apparently it's his stepdaughter's fault. Are we not seeing a pattern here? My mom was pissed off that I went to my grandma's funeral. I'm pretty sure that if my grandma knew who showed up at her funeral, I'd probably be the only one she was okay with. Well, she'd have been okay with my little sister there too. My older brother, not so much. My grandma, she loved all 4 of us, and she loved us equally. But at the same time, she knew what was in our nature. And she didn't like what was in Tara's nature. She didn't like the fact that Tara's a chronic liar or that she's a thief. But also, my grandma, she didn't get to see Tara as a mother. She didn't get to see Tara after she was pregnant, had Destiny. You know, it was a different world. Tara didn't want to be a liar anymore. She jumped real heavy into religion and stayed there. But she also got treated like an animal for it. The church treated her like she was mentally ill because she's got this thing called a shofar. It's a horn. But you know what? My sister is a bit on the strange side. But as far as being evil, she is not evil. She has done evil things because she didn't want to get in trouble. But she is a far cry from being the next Adolf Hitler, Fritz Saukel, or Heinrich Himmler. She lies now when she's afraid. When she's afraid of consequences. Well, you can go ahead and be afraid of the consequences. They're still going to be there. With my little sister ripping me off the way that she did, I need help turning that in. And I don't have help. I needed Tara's help turning in Scott DaCosta. But Tara was only interested. She wanted to get the money and go hang out with Ed. And that's the way it was every time. When she was supposed to be helping me, it was supposed to be her helping me, not Ed and her fucking flirting back and forth the whole fucking time. Now there's 3 videos the second day Tara was there. 3 videos that are recorded on my YouTube channel. There's also the actual situation recorded in its entirety. And you get to realize what a fucked up situation it is. But how many of y'all are going to listen to 9.5 hours worth of recording? Well, 7.5 hours of just one recording. And then there's like 2 hours of another one. These guys will make any excuse not to do their jobs or to do anything about their jobs as mandated reporters. And that's the thing, is that all of these people know they're taking advantage of the disabled, every one of them. Every time they lie to one of us and say there's nothing they can do. No, I am an at-risk adult. They have to do something by law. It is required by law. And if they're not going to follow the law, oh, it's a good thing I recorded, isn't it? The problem is getting someone to actually fight, someone to actually help to turn this shit in. Now, as far as getting my food stamp started, that's what we did today. That's what we did this morning. And all the questions about all the other stuff, well, I had all of that stuff. I don't have it now. And when the lady wanted to keep on asking me about it, like, yeah, you know, I had that stuff. I don't now because I didn't have assistance. And she tells me they don't have anybody who assists people. Well, they're supposed to. There's supposed to be a case manager for anybody who's disabled. If we don't have anybody to act as family, they are supposed to assign one immediately. And that is nationwide. DHS is nationwide. When they start saying, oh, well, it's different state to state. No, it's not. Your Department of Health and Human Services, you're a federal fucking agency, not a state agency. There is no state DHS. Now, there's Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Yes, that's specifically pointing out that it's in Nebraska, but it's still a federal program. They ignore the laws when it doesn't benefit them, which is why it's important to know the laws. And a lot of people that you go in with aren't going to know the laws. They're not going to. They haven't had to go through it alone, and things went a lot smoother for them as a result. And so there's a lot of stuff they're not aware of that could have been done to them. And thank goodness those things were not done to them. Thank goodness they had somebody there the first time so those trees weren't pulled on them. Alright, well, I gotta try to defog my window a bit. I am thankful for the lady who went in with me to get that done. As far as Mr. Farnsworth goes, I don't want him harmed, but I don't want him harming others. and I will get my coffee. All right. I don't really have anything that would be worth $2, do I? I guess I got part of a bottle of urine. That might be okay for somebody who runs a tannery. Anyway, if I get enough for the coffee, that means that I can go in and take care of at least part of what I need to take care of. And All right. Well, he's going to put it out there to the universe, and he gave me a can I can exchange for 10 cents. So we're closer to our goal. I got to smoke me a tobacco stick and talk to some folks who's not horrible to me, which is good. What the hell happened to my seat? It feels like my seat is about 4 inches further back than it should be. I'm gonna go park on the other side and sit out in the rain with a sign. Yes, I will probably end up sick from it, but necessities, right? The problem is these people want to argue, people at all these government agencies, they're not looking at anything. They're mandated reporters, but they're refusing to do their jobs. If they refuse to take a look, they can say, oh, I didn't see nothing. And that's why it's important to have somebody to go in with you. I'm going to be going over to Starbucks anyway. I can probably go park by the Starbucks. Says finances. Faithfully give to your church so pastor and staff can be properly compensated. For what? What are they compensated for? It says pay it forward. Ask them if there's anything they may need that you're able to provide. All right. I can, I suppose, turn this off on for a while. Only about 10 minutes of it is useful because it was the 10 minutes that I was in there getting the paperwork and filling it out. It's a lot easier when there's somebody there with you. It goes a lot smoother. So I'm definitely thankful for somebody going in with me. there's some other stuff that needs to be done, and I guess they're gonna stay in contact with me, so I still have help. So I don't have to do everything completely alone. But here's the thing. Something can be done. People just have to be willing to try. Anybody who works for the government is trained to lie to you. Any of them. If you find somebody who works for the United States government who has not been trained to lie to you, then they don't actually work for the United States government and they're lying to you. Process of elimination. Anyway, I'm gonna head off. Y'all stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind.